Hey y'all, welcome to my kitchen today. I am so excited about the recipes that I'm fixing today because they're Southern favorites. First up, it's a twist on one of Michael's favorites, country oxtails. Nothing makes my mouth water like okra-laced Hoecakes. And last but not least, I'm turning Georgia peaches into the perfect peach tart. So y'all grab your stick of butter, cause today I'm dressing up recipes Southern style. I've got my plate right here with 3 pounds of oxtails. Now I'm gonna take my house seasoning and season those up. So that's got our salt, our pepper, and our garlic. Now I'm just gonna toss in a little olive oil just to kind of grease up the bottom of my pan. All right, now I'm just gonna flip these over. Hey, baby, are you getting ready to go to work?
I am. What a terrible time.
And guess what I'm fixing you?
Oxtails.
Yes, I am.
I don't want to go to work.
I don't want you to go to work either. You know, everybody knows that this is your favorite dish, but I'm gonna give it a twist. So put your oxtails.
Well, that'll be a pigtail.
No, a twist. Oh, I get it. Now, we're just gonna sear those off, and I'm actually gonna put vegetables in this pot of oxtails. I'm gonna put new potatoes, and I'm just gonna take my potatoes and cut them in half.
Be like a stew, like a beef stew?
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna kind of be like a beef stew.
Yummy.
All right, now I'm prepping my onion. I'm just gonna kind of peddle my onion, put it to the side. I'm gonna put a little carrots. And I've got 6 cloves, big cloves of garlic. I'm just gonna cut in half. All right, so flip them over and see what you've got. Do the guys ever cook oxtails on the boat?
No, not at work. Anthony's got pretty good with macaroni and cheese.
Our son Anthony works on the tugboat, and they go on these tugboats, y'all, and they live a week on, and then they come home for a week. So they have to do their own cooking, and Anthony's so cute, he'll call me up and he'll say, now, Paula, how can I cook so-and-so? So one day I want to get Anthony and our son-in-law Daniel in here in the kitchen with me and teach them some dishes that will work out real good for their tugboat week.
Oh, that'd be neat.
Yeah. All right, that looks good, Michael. I think you can take those up and put them over there on the plate.
Okay, up.
And see all the bitsies?
Right.
On the bottom of our pan. Look there. That's like the love from the oxtail down in there. All right, Michael, I've got a can of beef broth back there. Pour that in for me, please, honey, before it burns.
Okay, up.
There you go. And we need about a tablespoon of Worcestershire. So just kind of eyeball a tablespoon. That's about it. All right, we need about a cup of red wine. So just measure us out a cup. And then I'm gonna take our garlic cloves and toss over in there. All right, that looks good. Now just kind of stir those things up for me because I'm gonna add some nice herbs to this. I'm gonna add a teaspoon of dried basil, a teaspoon of oregano, and I'm gonna add a couple of bay leaves. So there we go. I know how you like about your little bite. So we're gonna add a little hot sauce. And now we're gonna add a small can of tomato sauce. Okay, so you give that a stir. Now, if you would just add back, honey, the oxtails. And when you get those back in, if you just take the spatula and then take that juice, that little bit of juice off our pan.
Right.
That's kind of come out of our oxtails. Because that's a mighty fine seasoning in that plate. Anthony and Daniel could actually fix these in the crock pot.
Uh-huh.
Down on the tub.
And if you couldn't get oxtails, you could use like short ribs for this, right?
Oh gosh, short ribs would be fabulous in this. Just fabulous. So what we're gonna do now, Michael, is we're just gonna put the lid on our oxtails. And if you would, this pan is right heavy. If you would put this in the oven for me.
So you don't put the vegetables in until later?
No, because, you know, that potato...
They'll cook down to nothing, huh?
Be careful. Yeah, they would cook down to nothing. So we're gonna let this cook anywhere between 300, 350 degrees for 2 to 3 hours because oxtails do require a good bit of cooking to tender them up. So we're gonna let these tender up, Michael.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna take the pot out and then we're gonna add our vegetables. It's gonna bring in all new flavors. So, I've got your entree underway.
Like
Just in time for you to go to work.
Love you.
I love you too,
Bye.
and I'll see you later. I gotta take a quick break, y'all. And when we come back, I'm gonna make you another one of Michael's favorites, and that's okra lace Hoecakes. And later, a perfect Southern treat, a peach tart. I so hope y'all are enjoying the show. And if you do, be sure to click like, subscribe, and the notification bell so you'll never miss a video. And we'll be right back after the break. Hey y'all, welcome back. Now, I promised y'all some lace okra Hoecakes. So that's what we're fixing to get ready to go here. Now, I'm using a hoe pan. And you can see it has just a little rise on the sides. And in order to make Hoecakes, this is the pan. I better cut that down before I spray it. Now, you can use a regular frying pan. I wanna make sure that I spray this well because I don't want my Hoecakes sticking. And we'll go ahead and mix up our batter. Now, this is the easiest batter in the whole entire world to make, y'all. And it's got to be like the cheapest. And I'm sure that's why so many Southerners ate so many Hoecakes back in the day because, you know, it would get your belly full, taste delicious, but cost very, very little. So I'm gonna use 2½ cups of water. And now we're gonna measure out 2 cups of all-purpose cornmeal. That's 1. And you want this batter not a whole lot thicker than water. All right, now the important ingredient to our lace Hoecakes is salt. So we'll wanna make sure that we get this salty enough. And I'm gonna just give that a quick taste to see if that's salty enough, maybe a little bit more. All right, there we go. So I'm gonna let that batter rest for a minute because this will actually thicken up and I may need to water it down a little bit more. But come on back here, I've taken our oxtails out of the oven and I'm gonna slip our vegetables into our pot now. And I have to tell you, it smells heavenly. So, in goes our onions and our potatoes and some carrots. You know, you could toss in some sugar snap peas or something like that, but I just love the idea of the potatoes, the onions, and the carrots. And rather than put this back in the oven, since Michael's not here to lift this heavy pot, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna let those vegetables simmer away back here on top of the stove until they're done. Well, let's come on up here now and get started on our Hoecakes. Now, I've got our pan heating. I've got my vegetable all ready. Now, let's move on with our okra. If okra is in season, then you can use fresh okra, but if it's not, the frozen whole okra works very nicely. But on the fresh okra, we just want to slice this real, real thin because our Hoecake batter is thin. Now we're going to add our okra. And you can add as much or as little as you want. But if I'm gonna eat okra Hoecakes, I want some okra Hoecakes. All right, so our pan is nice and hot for our Hoecakes now. I'm gonna add some vegetable oil. This looks like a lot, but we really need a good bit because we don't want it sticking. All right, let me get a ladle. And because my pan is so hot, I wanna get me a little protection there. I'm gonna cook these between medium and medium high. And this is something that you'll want to get in your kitchen and just practice on, y'all. They're called Hoecakes because years and years ago, these were cooked over an open fire on a hoe. But you can see around the edges that it's like bubbling up and it has holes in it, and that's why it's called lace Hoecakes, because it looks like a pretty lace doily. So what I want to do is just work the edges around there, making sure that it stays kind of nice and loosey, and let that all kind of get up underneath there. And once I get this going, I kind of cook it on low because I don't want this to burn in the center. And that's coming along very, very nice. Now let me show you how my mama taught me to flip my Hoecakes, because it's not necessarily so easy, you know, to do it like this. You can, but a guaranteed way is taking your plate and just running it under the tap with cold water, laying it on top of my Hoecake pan, flipping that over, and look at that. Like the prettiest ever. All right, and I'm gonna give that a quick spray again because I don't want it to stick on this side. We're just gonna slide that back onto our hoe pan, and we're gonna let it cook on the other side. All right, and it's just that easy. So I'm gonna take a quick break, run get you something to drink, and nestle back in front of the TV because we're fixing to taste these okra Hoecakes. And coming up, the best peach tart you ever put in your mouth. And later, a delicious glaze for our peach tart. I hope y'all are enjoying the show, and I want to hear from you. Tell me what recipes or videos you'd like to see me make by just leaving a short comment below. Now, let's get back to the show, y'all. Oh my goodness, today is a great day in the kitchen because it's all about my Southern favorites. And I can't have my Southern favorites without this okra Hoecake. So look here, y'all, I've gotten it ready and move it over here to my plate. Now the only thing this Hoecake needs is just a little butter. I love to eat it with just a little butter. Look, I'm gonna just kind of smear that around. Look at that. Look at that cornbread, y'all. Mmm. Mmm. Open wide. Open wide. Did you get it? Just in case you didn't, I'll finish it for you. All right, I got my oxtails back here, y'all, and I was gonna taste those right now. But you know, I don't think I'm gonna do that because we've got a peach tart to make. Michael loves peaches. You know, this kind of is like eating on popcorn. It's got that real corny taste. It's so delicious. Mmm. But I've got to get this peach tart made. I've already made the crust. I've used 1 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 stick of butter at room temperature, 2 tablespoons of sour cream, and I just mixed them together. It comes together very, very quickly. This is what your dough looks like. You may want to have your little flour on hand just to keep the dough from sticking to your hands. Now we're just gonna take our dough and press it into our tart pan, just like I've done here. And I baked this tart shell off for 15 minutes in a 375-degree oven. And I've brought it out, I've let it cool, and now we're gonna make the filling to our tart. Now down here I have 6 peaches that I've pitted and sliced. And we're gonna take equal parts of sour cream. We're gonna take 3/4 of a cup of sour cream. And that looks to be about right. I've got 1/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour. We're gonna add the sour cream. And then I've got 3 egg yolks. Those go in the bowl. And then we're gonna add 3/4 a cup of sugar. So we're just gonna mix this together. Just that quickly. Okay, so there we go. There's our batter. Now I'm gonna take my peaches and I'm just gonna lay them in my tart pan, and I'm gonna kind of go with a pretty design. You know, I'm just gonna kind of run them around the edges of my pan, just like this. All right, I've got these tucked in there nice and snug, and that's gonna be a pretty design. Kind of has the look of a flower. All right, now all we're gonna do now is take our batter and pour it over our peaches. We're gonna need to lower our oven temperature to 350. And then we're gonna bake this for about an hour. Look how easy that came together. Okie doke. So in the oven, 350 degrees. And when we come back, we're gonna taste these oxtails, I promise. And coming up, a delicious glaze for our peach tart.
I so hope y'all are enjoying the show. And if you do, be sure to click like, subscribe, and the notification bell so you'll never miss a video. And we'll be right back after the break.
Hey y'all, welcome back. I'm getting this stuff pulled together. I'm dipping me a little rice, just because I like buttered rice. And these oxtails smell fabulous, y'all. I can't wait to taste them. I think Michael's gonna be in favor of them. Get me a little potatoes and a little carrots. And look how much Hoecake I have left, y'all. I have 2 little pieces left, because I tell you what, while y'all were away, I kept munching on the cornbread. But look at this. These oxtails have just cooked up, and they're just as tender as your mother-in-law's love. If you've ever heard that old Southern saying before. That is some good tail. Now let's move on down here quickly, because I've already taken our peach tart out of the oven and I've got it down here cooling, but there's one last thing we have to do to our peach tart. We want to put a nice, pretty sheen on it. And we're gonna do that by mixing up just a jarred peach preserve. And you can just eyeball this. I'm gonna use about 1/2 cup. And I'm gonna use about a tablespoon of an orange juice concentrate, the frozen kind that I've let thaw. And I'm just gonna smear on top of our tart. So let's come down here and finish this off. It's gonna give this a beautiful sheen. Look at that beautiful shine, y'all. Looks delicious. Delicious, delicious. Okay. Now all we have to do is push up on the bottom of our tart pan and remove the ring. And let's get in here. Oops. And cut us a little piece of that tart. Now this would be delicious served with maybe some vanilla ice cream or even peach ice cream. A little whipping cream. Or just a little mint, like I'm gonna do. And look at that beautiful fresh peach tart. It's perfect.
Hey y'all, it's Paula Deen. Now, if y'all enjoyed this week's full episode Friday, be sure to like it and click the subscribe button as well as the notification bell to be alerted when I post a video. Love and best dishes, friends.